We're going to talk a little bit about
Blog
mindfulness.
Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to be here. So good to just have that time with you guys to just chat a little bit. And want to say thank you to all the emails that I received this month. And I hope that everyone was satisfied with the answers to the questions that you had or just the information that you received from me that was requested. Keep those emails coming. I love them, and I love how some of you even texted me, and that was great. We are going to have a very interesting talk today. We're going to talk about mindfulness. We did this before on the broadcast, but we're going to talk about how living mindfully will cause you to be able to bring your attention back to where it should be. There are always things that are pulling our attention on our day-to-day, and we're going to talk about how you can actually put those things in perspective so you're not overwhelmed, and show you how to do it by just being mindful, being present in each moment. Go ahead and hit that follow button on the screen. Hit that follow button and just follow me so that we can always chat together and just correspond through the emails and even some of the live broadcasts that we do on the podcast channel and some of the ones that we do on YouTube. We just communicate in so many different ways, and I love it. And I just love chatting and being present with you guys. For those of you that were online when we did our mindful meditation dance class last week, it was absolutely amazing. So just looking forward to you guys just being a part of so many things that we do here at the studio. Like I said, there's always something pulling our attention, whether it's work or, oh my goodness, social media is always pulling our attention. Responsibilities that we have towards our families or just even ourselves, our work, maybe a business. There's so many different things as individuals we have to do that pulls our attention. We're pulled on so many different angles in life. In our fast-paced society that we live in, it's just kind of hard to balance everything that we have to do and even those things that we desire and crave to do. And as a result of all of that, we most of the time neglect the areas in our life that, can be just most meaningful to us, those areas that sometimes get neglected that are most important. It's almost an example like I was sharing with someone just this weekend, how our feet on our bodies are like more neglected than any part of our body, our feet and our feet and our hands, and we use them more than anything. And so with me being a body therapy coach, I talk a lot about, physical fitness, and I talk a lot about, muscle tension and soreness and all the things that bodies go through throughout life. And I was just talking to a fellow coach, and we were discussing about how sometimes, your hands, your feet may be stiff, may be sore. We come across that in the arena that we are in. And unfortunately, when muscles are overused or sometimes underused, how sometimes they get stiff and sometimes in pain. Well, that was just an example of how we neglect certain parts of our lives, and those areas in our lives are stagnated, they're neglected, and then therefore they become stagnated, and we miss out on certain things that could be very memorable or, need to be taken care of. So living your best life, as we talk about all the time, and everyone's talking about that, it plays a big role. The mindfulness plays a big role in you being able to do that, just being aware of every moment. Sometimes we're all over the place because we have all those things to take care of, and we just need to take that step back. As I always say, that purposeful pause, take that step back get things in perspective, live in the moment, one thing at a time. You can only do one thing at a time, and it turns out the way it's supposed to be. You know, I always tell people it's good to keep a journal or keep a list of things that you need to do, not just mentally, but actually write it down as you have to do these day-to-day, and not that things are not going to be interrupted. You know, you may have to go to a meeting, but you may have to make a stop because you got a phone call, or, you know, that takes away from where you were going and the time that you have to be there. I'm saying that we can still bring those things in perspective and be able to handle those things that interrupt, or, you know, those things that interfere with your natural flow of day, and it doesn't stresses you out. And the first thing that I want to say is that sometimes we don't have that visual before us, you know, to have that type of lifestyle. We feel like we've always been busy and always things are, you know, chaotic or whatever, and that's the way life is supposed to be, and that's the way life is going to be. But that's not the way that it has to be. You can control your day-to-day. Even if things do interrupt, you can cause it to flow back into perspective if you have that control. And there are tools that we can use in order to do that. And one of those tools is living mindfully, being in control of your moment by moment by living in the moment. Visualize yourself. Visualize yourself being present in each moment, doing things moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, and not trying to consume several things at one time and get all these things in perspective. If you've ever been in one of my life coaching sessions individually or in a group, you hear me talk about the wheel of life that can help you get things in perspective. And what is it? What is the wheel of life? Well, it is one of those tools that can serve as a very, very good resource, a highly useful resource. It's very helpful. It helps you to look at each of the different things in life categories, how you can put these things in perspective and allocate your attention to these things as needed and in some type of order. And like I said, you want to see yourself doing things that way, you know, dividing your things up that you have to do, writing things down, because it puts that visual in front of you. You can see it. And at the end of the day, you can see, wow, I accomplished so much more by visually seeing what's needed to be done. Sometimes we think we can just make that mental picture, and that puts a lot of stress on ourselves, you know. And so, you know, writing these things down, say, for instance, I was given the example today, you have doctor's appointments, you have responsibilities on your job on a day-to-day, personal things that you have to do for your family, even for yourself, and things that you're doing for personal development, things that you are, maybe you're in school or, you know, taking some classes, or maybe you are, you know, you're doing something to better your career in the field that you're in, maybe not necessarily taking classes, but sitting in meetings and doing different things. It will help to write these things down and map them out, you know, for your day-to-day. And if things interrupt, you're able to pull those things in, do them, and get back to that mindful state of doing what's necessary that you have on your list to do. And even work with your finances and also with things that you want to do in life for enjoyment. Have it mapped out. I'm going to do this entertainment this month or next month or next year, but this, you know, going to be in a couple of years. I'm going to do it. Just writing things, allowing yourself to see them and have it mapped out. And even if things come up, you're able to go back to it without it being stressful. In any situation, whether it's a relationship or anything, I teach journaling. and with the journaling, you're pulling in that visualization. You can see those things that are important to you and that you are doing or are you gonna do, and so we were talking about basically reflecting. Once you do all this, reflecting on these things at the end of your day, and how did my day today go today? And you'll see as you do these things, your every day will get better. You're handling the things that you have to do. We'll say the list of things you have to do, how you incorporate all the interruptions that may come, and how you're able to get back to where you're supposed to be when you've taken care of the interruptions and you're moving forward in your day-to-day, achieving the goals that you have to achieve, that you have to achieve during that day. Each day you'll see that you'll do that better and better. And you'll begin to set goals, for each day, for the month, for the year. You'll see all of that stuff falling into place a whole lot better than it all jumbled there. Say you have a goal and each goal has steps. There's no goal that you jump from A and all the way to Z. You always have to go from A to Z. You don't jump from A over to Z. You're able to put everything in perspective with each area of your life because you've taken that time to be mindful of each moment, mindful of each goal, mindful of each task. And as you put it before you, you see it. Visualization is so important and it's so powerful. You're able to put things before you. Basically, you're stretching it out and you're looking at it and you're seeing it and you're going, okay, now I can see. It's not just jumbled in my mind, but I can see it. So I just want to encourage you to do your best to think about all of this that I've shared with you today and begin to write those things down and begin to use visualization as a part of it and just being mindful of your moments, of your days. And it will help you to put things in perspective, help you to think of your life in different terms. And you'll see and you'll understand, you'll be able to understand the different aspects of your life, what influences it, and what impacts it, and how you can make things simple for yourself and make things work better for you. This will help you in finding that balance and working on those goals and those responsibilities more mindfully, more peaceably, and without a whole lot of stress. I'm not saying you're not going to have any stress, but it will minimize what you're experiencing even right now. So I want to encourage you to go back and listen to this and to allow it to be a guide as you begin to write those things down and begin to visualize those things and put things in perspective, putting it on paper, journaling and listing, putting things in lists, and just being able to see it. This will help you more on living your life better and more perspective and living a life to the fullest because you're not living a stressful life, but a mindful life. So until next time, guys, it has been wonderful. Don't forget to follow me. Hit that follow button. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shalom.